So Prarthi has been working and contributing in the field of environment since last 8 years, and she's a young maker. She is currently working as an independent heritage consultant for various projects. She is the founder of an environmental organization called Green Bricks Foundation, which is the formal startup of Vadodara Strickers. That's how you call it, Strickers or Strikers?
Yeah, that is Strikers with a C.
Strikers, right? Okay. Yeah, with for C for change, right? So, which is the formal startup of Group Vadodara Strikers, which was founded by her and her team in 2012, when she would have been even younger. She was brand ambassador of combating environmental degradation program by Gujarat Ecology Commission in 2010 at a very young age. Her social venture has attracted people from all age groups and backgrounds. She holds a master's degree in heritage management from Ahmedabad University and a bachelor's degree in BSc in geography from Maharaja Sayaji Rao's University, Vadodara. So that's I think a brief background. There is a lot of stuff that she's been doing over the last few years, and we are hopeful that some of it will get covered during our conversation today. So I would like to start with a simple question, which is about if you can talk, I have given an introduction, but if you were to talk about yourself and your relationship with the city, how would you describe it? And why do you do what you do? And where does the love for your city comes from? And so if you can introduce you and your relationship with the city.
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me here. It's a wonderful initiative, and congratulations to the entire team for this. Yeah, you have covered like my basic introduction, so I don't need to share that. But my interest in this field started from my school days, where so I was always interested in science, and I was participating in science projects since a very young age. So my first project was on mangroves, which is a saltwater plant. And I got interested into mangroves, and I understood how one plant is beneficial to the environment, how it is, contributing to, sustain our environment. That actually inspired me that, I want to do something for climate change and environment. And so luckily, I got an opportunity to meet Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam in 2011. And I interacted with him on the same topic. And I shared the idea of, launching a youth group which works for, climate change awareness and environmental education. And so right after my 12th examination in my vacation days in 2012, I launched Vadodara Strikes. So we are celebrating 10th year anniversary this year. So yeah, and so that's how my journey started. And I have a good few friends who joined me in this initiative, and our city has responded really well. We were like, 18, 19-year kids, but people were patient to listen to us. They were happy to contribute. They were happy to join us back then and now as well. Baroda is my hometown, so of course I have feelings for it. So I started my journey from here. I have traveled across for my work, but I'm again back. I'm shifting my base here. So that's how it started, and it's going on right now.
That's quite amazing that such an idea caught you at such a young age, and you decided to pursue and follow it with full passion. And I can't imagine that how inspiring it must have been to meet Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam.
It was one of the best moments of my life.
Yeah. So you mentioned that this was way back about more than 10 years ago, when Vadodara would probably have been even not very small, but smaller than what it is right now. And how was it to start a climate change group at that time in the city? That it's not a topic that is which catches everybody's fancy even now, let alone larger cities. So how difficult or different it was when you thought about this as a topic in Vadodara?
So when we came up with this idea, everybody was like, surprised. There are so many social NGOs who are working for, slum kids or disabled people, but the idea of making an organization which is working, especially in youth groups for environment, so that was new for my city. And but the idea was welcome because so I think we were one of the first youth groups in Vadodara back then, who was completely into scientific knowledge and environment awareness. So yeah, and that actually that also got us an edge because schools were happy to invite us for lectures, involving their students in our projects. So that actually, the idea was very much welcome.
So at that time, like given that you were a bunch of very energetic young people, did you come across mentors, or there were people who saw the value in it and who kind of nurtured this idea, and who as in, like, are there specific kind of people in a city like Vadodara and maybe in other cities who are there to kind of identify that, okay, this is something worth pursuing, and they are there to, like, these and this youth is following it? And so did you come across such mentors who were able to provide you with support, whether it was providing scientific education or opening up horizons of learning and knowledge? So
so in my own life, I have come across like one of the best people from the field as my mentor. So I have been very lucky to work along their side, and they have helped me in establishing Vadodara Strikers and also my company right now. So and I can name a few from Vadodara. Mr. M.H. Mehta, who is Padma Shri in biotechnology. I am also working with him in a project called Vaho Vishwamitri. I will talk about that in maybe later part of this talk. And even not only my mentors, but a lot of people like from government officials, they have helped us. Even in the period of COVID, we had mentors who could, guide us in navigating people and, getting the help from government as well. So we have a list of mentors who have, helped us and, stood by us in all the time.
So maybe you can briefly talk about your work in the space of climate change, both as an individual, as one of the strikers, and now the Greenpeace Foundation as well. Like, how does what is, like, if you, for our audience, if you can briefly talk about what you guys do?
So my individual, I told you that I started with mangroves. So my project was called CAMP, Coastal Area Management Project. So I was studying that how mangroves as an ecosystem helps us in preventing floods and cyclones. So it helps as, it becomes a coastal bioshield for the coastal areas. And Gujarat has 1,600 kilometers of coastline. So it was a very interesting project. I traveled a lot for that. And so I started my research with that. Then I have presented papers on various themes and topics. In Vadodara Strikers as well, we focus on SDGs for, addressing a few issues and concerns. And we always connect the international policies to the local, governance and how it can affect to people. So, and Vadodara Strikers has various activities planned for school children as well as senior citizens. So we have designed programs around their age groups and the groups they are working in. So from small drawing competition, essay competition to, we have also organized international photography competitions where wildlife photographers from all across India and abroad participated, and we exhibited their work, top 35 photographs every year in Vadodara. So that's our annual event. And yeah, so there are some events which are one time, and there are some projects which are ongoing. Like one of it is Chain of Change, where we train the volunteers, train the students to go and survey around like various corners of the city and understand the concerns and issues like, waste management or water management. We have a river here called Vishwamitri. So that is also one thing that, how aware people are about the issues of climate change and how they can do something in their daily life to make an impact.
Okay. So there is, of course, a significant component of your work which requires you to connect with citizens. And so how do you connect with citizens and how do you get them motivated to join? What are the kind of citizens that are more active and why are they more active? Like within like a city, like Vadodara, your city, how first part is basically how do you motivate them? How do you connect with them?
Okay. So one thing is very interesting that, I always tell young people that if you want to involve people, if you want them to join us, then you always have to coolify some, the work that you're doing. So if they find it interesting, if they find it, I should do this, then they will come. So we always design things which interests them. So like, we organize competition on selfies. So I have a series called Heritage Selfie Series. So you go and take a picture with a monument or a site and then describe it on your own social media page. In a way, you are also spreading awareness and you are also showing your own interest in heritage. So, and there are so many things. We always try to bring art into our campaigns because we feel that art is the best medium to express. So we also have our own song called Tu Sambalja, which is an earth song. It was launched in 2016. So, and photography is one.
Who composed it?
I was part of
Who composed the song?
I was part of a band called Ahman.
Was it an in-house song?
Yeah, me and my sister both are actually vocalists. So we have written it and we compose it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that's like an anthem of Vadodara Strikers?
Kind of, yeah. Okay. It's in Hindi. And yeah. It's like, Yahi pal hai tera, tu sambhal ja. This is the time you should wake up.
And what kind of citizens are more active? यानी किस तरह के लोग हैं जो आगे बढ़ के आते हैं? Who connect more? Not just now, even when you started maybe 10 years ago. So, what kind of citizens?
There are some people who are always looking for an opportunity to contribute something. वो जो लोग हैं वो सबसे पहले आगे आते हैं. And there are some people, some youth who come, do a small activity with us and then they vanish. So it's like keeping their interest in this area, contributing in something. So that is a very difficult part. So my apart from my core team, my team keeps changing every event or every activity. But we still sustain because the core idea is the same. But that is the issue that, जब भी हम यूथ की बात करते हैं, उनका इंटरेस्ट एरिया एक चीज में बना रहे, that is a very difficult thing. But people who are already passionate and, लोग होते हैं जो हमें सामने से आकर कहते हैं कि whenever you are doing something, do let us know, we want to be part of this. So they are the most active citizens of the city.
Okay. तो youth की जब आप बात कर रहे हो तो youth में ज्यादातर the catchment, like from where you find volunteers, find people, वो कहाँ से ज्यादातर आते हैं? स्कूल्स में से, या फिर आप पब्लिक इवेंट करते हैं वहां पे लोग एनरोल करते हैं? ज्यादातर यूथ, इवन इफ दे कीप चेंजिंग, फर्स्ट पॉइंट ऑफ कांटेक्ट नॉर्मली क्या रहता है आपके लिए?
हमारी जो इवेंट्स है उसमें तो डेफिनेटली आते हैं, बिकॉज मीडिया पीपल आल्सो हेल्प अस वेरी मच. तो बहुत लोग हमें हमारी वेबसाइट देख के, हमारा पेज देख के, या फिर हमारा पोस्टर बहुत जगहों पे होता है वहां पे देख के दे कॉन्टैक्ट अस. बट वी हैव अ ह्यूज यूनिवर्सिटी, महाराजा सयाजीराव यूनिवर्सिटी. हम लोग उनके साथ भी बहुत सारे प्रोग्राम्स करते हैं. एंड जो हम जब व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट एनवायरनमेंट, तो एनवायरमेंटल साइंस स्टूडेंट्स को हम कैसे छोड़ दें. तो डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ एनवायरमेंटल साइंस के जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं वो काफी बार हमारे साथ काम करने के लिए आते हैं. एंड नॉट ओनली दैट, but a lot of students from MS University join us in our projects.
Okay, maybe can you visualize or like create a visual for us for a project कि किस तरह का, जब आप प्रोजेक्ट के बारे में बात करें, कि ये एग्जाम्पल से अगर आप थोड़ा बताएं कि उसमें क्या होता है, लोग कौन आते हैं, फिर वो लोग किस तरह से करते हैं, मीडिया, आपने कहा मीडिया आपको हेल्प करता है, तो मीडिया क्या करता है, यूनिवर्सिटी से आप किस तरह की पार्टनरशिप करते हैं. इट विल जस्ट गिव, लाइक फॉर एनीबडी हु इज probably doing something similar, it will give them an image of what can happen in a city when one talks about a climate related event, for example.
Yeah, so जब हम climate related प्रोजेक्ट की बात करते हैं तो इट इज ऑलवेज लॉन्ग टाइम. एंड हम स्टार्ट करते हैं बाय टेकिंग अ ब्रीफ सेशन ऑन व्हाट एक्चुअली वी वांट टू डू. तो मैं अभी टीम फॉर्म करती हूँ, तब आई इनवाइट ऑल द वॉलंटियर्स वंस एंड आई एक्सप्लेन देम कि हम ये क्यों कर रहे हैं और कैसे करने वाले हैं. देन वी डिवाइड द वर्क जिसकी जैसी कैपेसिटी हो. So there are some people who can give talks. So they go and talk to the society people. मतलब सबको इकट्ठा करके they give a session on maybe waste management or something. Single use plastic के लिए हमने अभी Earth Day के दिन किया. So we approach people, like we make small groups in our own group, and then we go like taking a target, and then we go and approach the citizens. That's how, that's how we, like, not only surveys, पर हमें किसी भी चीज के लिए करना हो काम. तो first thing is that we as a team understand what we want to do, और उसका goal oriented भी होते हैं थोड़ा, कि हमें इतने लोगों तक इस प्रोजेक्ट में पहुंचना है. So that's how we divide, and then we try to make an impact.
Okay. Maybe you can also, like we know that during the COVID times, because there was a ready-made group of individuals who were committed to their city in form of your organization, and you were there in providing volunteer services. So maybe can you talk about that experience? That how did all of that work out? Like, what were you doing? How did you help? Where did the help come to you? Like, how did the whole, इसमें बहुत सारे लोगों का योगदान रहा, but because एक organization थी which could act as a pivot, can you talk about your role and of Vadodara Strikers during the COVID pandemic in Vadodara?
Definitely. That period was, eye-opening for us as well. Because in the first wave, when the lockdown started, so I was working with Earth Day Network India, and we designed a small, challenge for people, क्योंकि उस वक्त पे reels and social media was on hike. तो हम सोचा कि लोगों को हम social media पे ही approach करेंगे and we'll engage them. So paper bag making challenge हमने शुरुआत की Earth Day से. And then थोड़े वक्त के लिए we ran that. और ये जो second wave of COVID आया, उसमें so I did not allow any of my team members to go out and meet people. सबको बोला था कि जो भी काम है you do it from your home. But all of them, including me, were very sad about this situation कि अभी हम क्या. So we approached a government official. So they said that, if you can help us in the vaccination process, because उस वक्त पे ऐसा था कि COVID was very new and people were finding it very difficult to register themselves for the vaccines. So we took it up and we started our first initiative called Vaccine Action. Or Vaccine Action, yeah, I had 15 people का team and we had an online, जैसे हम लोग अभी online box में बात कर रहे हैं, वैसे ही we had a war zone. उसमें we met and we tried to, register people as much as we could. And we had a 24/7 helpline number. So Vaccine Action के साथ we also started helping people for oxygen, their hospital beds and plasma. So उसके लिए हमने उसको एक umbrella initiative बना लिया which was called COVID Aid. And COVID Aid के अंदर मैंने यही टीम को 2 parts में divide कर दिया. So one team was working for registering people for vaccinations and there were 76 vaccine centers जहाँ पे बड़ौदा में लोग वैक्सीन ले सकते थे. So we were also in touch with them कि किसके पास कहाँ पे कोई वैक्सीन अवेलेबल है and people are not there to take it, तो वो वैक्सीन वेस्ट ना हो उसके लिए भी we were coordinating with them. So slot booking around हमने 2,500 लोगों का किया in a span of 1 month. And we made sure कि वो लोग वहाँ पे गए हैं and they took the vaccine. At the same time, we were also working for another things. So उसमें भी we also had collaborations with other organizations which were working. We also had a group of all the founders of the organizations for Vadodara. तो उसमें भी coordination होता था कौन किस में help कर सकता है. So people knew that. Founders.
When you said founders of other organizations, this mean other social organizations?
Other social organizations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying.
Yeah. So all the people who were working for COVID relief.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
but
one group.
But this was facilitated by say the VMC, the municipal corporation, or it was just
it was not official group, but yes, it was initiated by
VMC. Okay. And I think because a lot of your work involves getting citizens, what is it that you mentioned that the interest level of youth is a level of difficulty, but what is easy in terms of why do people come and what excites them to work, especially in your team, for example, you have people who are working as volunteers or as your team members or those who come regularly, if not always. What is it in there for them that makes them come? What is your feeling?
So हम जब भी काम करते हैं तो I keep the environment very light because the first thing is that if they don't enjoy it, they won't come back. So whenever we are working for something, it is always fun. And we also add fun elements for people who are participating in it. So we have a small selfie booth for people to come and do join in, or we design it and we also invite a few celebrities when we can to join us in initiatives. So that is also an element. We should also go because they are influencers. And social media is a very big component in our work actually, क्योंकि वहाँ पे हम लोगों से connect होते हैं and like-minded people जो हैं वो हमें वहाँ पे they find us.
So most millennials and the next generation, you are utilizing the social media and technology with at the best of its advantage.
Yes.
Okay. Few more questions. I think that we have on this clock, we have 8 minutes. So if we don't finish, then we'll maybe join again. A lot of the work that you do does also find ways or overlaps or complements the work that maybe policy-based organizations do. So how does the work that you do, it helps in influencing policy and decisions? Like, for example, you talked about the Vishwamitra Abhiyan, the river one, and then the other programs that I think you had mentioned before, even collaboration COVID work. Like, how does your work help in influencing policy and decisions? And at what level, like whether with BMC, Municipal Corporation, or other organizations which are functioning in the city?
Yeah, so awareness and education part, हम उस पे ज़्यादा focus करते हैं. So it's like कि policy level में बोल सकते हैं कि अभी नहीं, but long term में definitely we will see results. So talking of Vaho Vishwamitri Abhiyan, that is a project of, it's a plan for reviving the river naturally. So there is one way that you can make a riverfront concrete one, or you make a riverfront which is also, interacts with ecosystem. And how do you revive it naturally? So we are also working on that. We are trying to sensitize the citizens to do something for their own river. So that is one. And talking about policies or maybe curriculum, in school curriculums, so we have been able to manage to start eco clubs in schools.
Okay.
And not only eco clubs, but also heritage clubs are starting now. So from very young age, if they get this exposure to, volunteer for different organizations, so आगे जाके उनका interest हमें ऐसे मतलब अभी जो problem हमें हो रहा है वो शायद आगे जाके ना. And we want people to, work towards this.
So can you talk about these clubs? Like how do they function? Which age group? And
Yes.
किस तरह का उसमें involvement है लोगों का?
Mostly there are primary section.
Okay.
And
young kids, early.
हाँ, so उनके खुद के स्कूल में they have science teachers. And वही लोग ये clubs को run भी करते हैं. And there are students who can, help their teachers in this. So जब भी उनको जरूरत होती है, so they invite organizations, they invite us for a lecture or maybe organizing an activity, plantation event, something like that.
Okay.
And their kids always can come and join us in our initiatives. That's how it functions.
Just looking at the list of questions that we have. There are many, but I hope that you don't mind answering them.
No.
So maybe you can talk about, you talked about your core team, right? So what does a core team look like? Like what is the kind of support that you need? Like not necessarily in terms of like what are the functions, what are the activities which a group like yours in a city like yours needs? Like what does that core work look like?
So core team is like there are two people who plan the activity. जिनको start से लेकर end तक they have to sit and plan the entire thing. Then there are people who are in the execution part. So they are like they approach schools or colleges or and there is a team for designing and social media, because we also have to create posters and we market the same thing on social media as well. So there are team members who are working on social media online, and there are team members who are going and meeting people and organizing things. So if we are doing an event, then we also need a venue. So we need a venue partner. Or if it is online, then we collaborate with other organizations who can also join us from there. We invite speakers. So that's how it, आगे पीछे होता रहता है, but this is how we function. के सबको सबके roles already पता होते हैं. So
but core function में काफी it's logistics, maintaining contact with your partners and getting volunteers on board.
Yeah.
And based on the event you have, then venue partners or organizing partners. Okay. What, maybe this is a question that we always ask as well. What would be your, message to people like you in other cities, to individuals or organizations who are hoping to do something similar in their own cities? What, if you were to give a message based on your learning, based on what you are seeing the past and the upcoming future, what would be your message to such individuals and organizations?
Based on my own experience, based on my own journey, 10 साल काम करके भी मुझे अभी लग नहीं रहा है कि मैंने कुछ काम किया है. So this field is huge. It's vast. You always learn something every day. You have an opportunity to learn something. And ये जो काम है उसमें experience के साथ ही you learn. And yes, of course, ये जो पैशन है काम करने के लिए, ये जो इंटरेस्ट है उसको बनाए रखने की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी हमारी होती है. एंड दैट इज हाउ, मतलब मुझे भी ऐसा है कि आई एम इंस्पायर्ड बाय नेचर. कि इफ whenever I visit a natural site, I'm like, this is the place to be. So why are we making concrete jungles? And that's how I'll always remind myself why I am doing this. And I always tell my teammates as well कि आप अगर किसी holiday destination की बात करते हैं तो where would you suggest people to go? आप ऐसे बोलोगे कि I want to go to Switzerland. Why Switzerland? Because their nature is intact, right? So we also have Himalayas. So we also have a responsibility to keep our nature intact.
Is there any other initiative that you would want to talk about which binds you with your city and brings your citizens together, either through Vadodara Strikers or through various other initiatives that are going on in the city?
So there are a lot of initiatives, but right now we are also focusing on Project Padhai, which is more on the city side. So Project Padhai is basically, we have an area called Gorva, and there's a community which stays there. It's a huge community, and there are around 120 children from different standards and age groups who come there. Every Sunday we have a 2-hour session. So Project Padhai mein, they are already enrolled in the schools. So we are not focusing more on their curriculum wala study part, but we are trying to develop their skills. Unke paas already there are few girls who make beautiful craft items. There are some kids who are great dancers. Some kids are interested in music. So we are trying to develop and help them to go further in their own interest areas. और संडे हम लोग किसी एक स्पीकर को लेकर जाते हैं. Like last Sunday we had celebrated International Yoga Day with them. So we collaborated with Gujarat Yoga State Board. So वहाँ के योग ट्रेनर्स आए, उन्होंने योग पे सेशन लिया and they also taught them how to do yoga. ऐसे ही every Sunday we have different themes and different speakers to go and meet them. So उनको जो exposure उन्हें नहीं मिल रहा है जो हमें मिलता था, जो नॉर्मल स्कूल चिल्ड्रन को मिलता है, वो हम उनको देने का ट्राई कर रहे हैं. We are just giving them the environment to grow.
Okay. So maybe I'll ask this question also now. you talked about exposure, and so you are giving exposure up, यानी जो आपको मिलता है, you are sharing it with those who might not have the opportunity. Where do you get this exposure from? How do you keep yourself informed? मैं आपने लोकेश के बारे में बात की. There are people who probably are within India, भारत में, भारत के बाहर भी इस तरह का काम कर रहे हैं. There are new learnings also जो आपके काम में आपको हेल्प कर सकती हैं. कि जैसे अगर आप कोई करिकुलम डिजाइन कर रहे हैं क्लाइमेट के बारे में या इको क्लब चला रहे हैं, तो देयर आर ऑफ कोर्स बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस और एग्जांपल्स दैट आर देयर. तो वो आप कैसे अपने आप को इन्फॉर्म्ड रखते हैं? यू सेट असाइड अ टाइम टू लर्न, फिर आप लोग मिलजुल के ये टारगेट करते हैं कि हाँ हमको ये जानना ही है, हमको पता करना है कि दुनिया में क्या हो रहा है. सो वेयर डज योर एक्सपोजर कम फ्रॉम?
तो पहली बात तो ये है कि जब हम बोलते हैं कि वी हैव टू बी एक्टिव, वी हैव टू बी इंटरेस्टेड, तो ऐसा तो नहीं है कि हम अकेले काम कर रहे हैं. देयर आर सो मेनी अदर पीपल हु आर डूइंग अमेजिंग वर्क. सो जब भी हमें वक्त मिलता है, चांस मिलता है, वी ऑल्सो अटेंड अदर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस की इवेंट्स. उनको सपोर्ट भी करने जाते हैं एंड वी ऑल्सो लर्न फ्रॉम देम. बहुत सारे मेंटर्स हैं जिनसे हम इंटरेक्ट करते हैं और दे ऑल्सो सजेस्ट अस के इस कंट्री में ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहा है, यू शुड रिफर देयर वर्क. वी रिफर टू रिसर्च पेपर्स, वी अटेंड कॉन्फ्रेंसेस. एंड मेरे पर्सनल काम में भी आई एम ऑलवेज लाइक दैट कि अगर इफ आई एम डूइंग समथिंग, फॉर एग्जांपल मैंग्रोव्स, तो आई गो एंड लुक अप के कौन कौन सी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस मैंग्रोव्स के रिसर्च और उसके कंजर्वेशन के लिए काम कर रही है. फॉर माय वेरी इनिशियल पीरियड there is an international organization called Mangrove Action Project, जिन्होंने मेरे रिसर्च में they helped me a lot. There are PhD students who are senior to us, जिन अप्रोच करते हैं, कांटेक्ट करते हैं जब भी हम कहीं पे रुक जाते हैं. That's how we function.
That's great to hear, because often it seems कि if you're not in the Delhi and the Bombay, the sphere of knowledge or the sphere of knowledge influence might be limited, but one can learn from your example that it doesn't need to be limited to anything, and
you know,
sky is the limit.
Yeah, जब भी मतलब बड़े cities में people have exposure, पर city like Baroda, it's not small, but फिर भी Baroda does not have that much opportunities. But somebody has to take the initiative and somebody has to, do something कि यहाँ पे भी exposure मिले. So that is what we are trying to do. कि हमारी city में at least if people wants to learn, people want to volunteer, they have a place to go.
And I think that's what inspired us to reach out to you, because this is something that you're doing which is very amazing, and it is going to give a lot of dividends to people of Vadodara in the future. And we congratulate you. We wish you all the best. कि आपका काम, आपकी प्रेरणा और आपका पैशन और बढ़े दिन दुना रात चौगुना. And you continue to do this great work, and more people join your tribe.
Nagrika is doing a commendable job. ऐसी छोटी छोटी cities में से you are reaching out people and interacting with them. You are also creating a platform के यहाँ मतलब we can also learn from each other के कौन कौन कहाँ पे क्या काम कर रहा है. If city like Baroda, another city में कोई अच्छा काम कर रहा है, we also get to learn कि हम भी ऐसा कुछ हमारी city में establish कर सकते हैं. So this series I think is going to be very helpful to people.
Yes, and thanks so much
to all of you for that.
Thank you
for having